There are over 25,000 big truck accidents in Georgia every year.
And we're here with injury attorney Rich Griffin of the Griffin Law Firm, who has a track record of great personal injury settlements involving truck accidents throughout Georgia. Rich, we were talking about how rough some of these crashes can be in Georgia. Yeah. You know, can you talk about why the risks of injury are higher when we have commercial trucks involved?
I can. If you think about it, everyone's had a frightening experience on the road.
Yes.
You're going down the highway and a big 18-wheeler's beside you. All you see are big tires, and you're in a car. Cars typically weigh about 4,100 pounds. SUV maybe 6,000 pounds. So when 35,000 pounds hits 4,000 to 6,000 pounds, it's going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, well, would you say that these truck accident claims are more complex?
They really are. You know, you need to know the trucking regulations. There are a lot of very complex rules and regulations. You really need to get into a lot of complex litigation often, because you're going to have to find out, you know, what did the trucking company know when they hired that truck driver? Does that truck driver have a long history of dangerous, reckless driving? You know, there's a GPS and there's information. There's all kinds of black box information. So you really need to know what you're doing. And we have been handling truck accidents for a long time. I've been doing this for 30 years. So it makes a huge difference. When you get that information, a small or medium case can become a huge case. And these cases can be millions of dollars.
Yeah. Okay, well, you are leading to my next question, Rich, which is, are these personal injury cases involving these bigger trucks worth more?
They absolutely are. You know, the first thing about every case is, you know, how seriously injured are you? And we can get into that. But another thing is, you know, what are the policy limits? In Georgia, for a car, you know, it's $25,000 is the minimum. Now, people often have a lot more, and you can have uninsured motorist coverage to protect yourself and your family, and I recommend you do. That's secondary coverage. But trucks typically have $1 million or more, and sometimes they have $5 million or $10 million. And sometimes there's the truck policy. Sometimes there's the insurance for the car that the client is in. They may have their own uninsured motorist. There may be another employer involved. So we stack all those policies and recover for all of that.
How do you determine what a truck accident case is worth, that entire value?
Well, let's talk about the injuries first. I mean, if you have an injury that is a permanent injury, typically a spinal injury, a traumatic brain injury, a concussion, that could be life-changing. You know, a concussion puts you at 2.5 greater risks of dementia, where you might later in life not even know your family by name. So the type of injury, the type of treatment, if you have injections, if you have surgeries, all these things are going to increase the value tremendously. The amount of the medical bills, you total all that up, and then you look at the future medical, then you look at lost wages, then there's pain and suffering. So it can be devastating to a family, and I'm there to try to help compensate. You know, you don't want to have a claim like this, but you need to have the money to get your family back together.
People on your side to help.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about that and look at some of your cases where you've had some really incredible recoveries, because
I'd love to.
That is, I think, what's critical is for people to see those results that you've been able to turn for people.
Right. I'd love to talk about those. So I have one for $2.5 million. It involved a big truck. Another one for $1,250,000. Another for $1 million. So these are 3 examples of $1 million verdicts and more. There are times where you end up with policy limits that are less than that. But I can say that truck accidents almost always involve policy limits, because those injuries are very, very traumatic.
Yeah, well, those are some impressive numbers for recoveries, but also equally impressive, 200 plus. You have these incredible 5-star reviews on Google. I mean, this is a lot of people really touting your business, touting your education, how you've helped them through things. What is the secret to the success that you've had?
That means so much to me, because I care about my clients. I've done this for 30 years. I love people, and I get to help people when they're in the most need. And I've assembled a team of people that care. So we are going to provide the best communication possible. We're going to treat you like family, because when you become our client, you're part of our family. Then we're going to deliver the results that are going to help you put your life back together.
Rich, thank you so much for joining us here on ATL Live. And if you've been seriously injured in an accident, contact attorney Rich Griffin by visiting richgriffin.com or by calling 404-777-RICH. That's RICH. The Griffin Law Firm is all in for your win.